Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. It is Plastic Free July, which as always means I'm aiming to dedicate my channel to all things as plastic free as possible. But this time we are doing a book haul, but not just any book haul. We are doing second-hand book haul. If you're new to this channel, don't forget if you like what you see to subscribe to this channel. Your continued support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. New books are gorgeous and lovely and smell divine, and I will always love new books. However, for the planet, not so great. I'm not telling people to never ever buy new books because authors need money and authors do not generally get money from second-hand books. However, they do get money if you borrow books from libraries, so that is always an option to use your local library so you can get books and the author will get paid. However, the other option is as well that you can buy second-hand books. Now, there is a local second-hand bookshop here in Abergavenny. There is the Annick second-hand bookshop up north, which if you haven't seen, I've done a vlog of visiting there. It's amazing. And there's so many other ways to get second-hand books. So I have a book haul today of books which have been gifted to me, which are books that people have handed down to me, which is another form of second-hand, or books from second-hand bookshops, or also a second-hand bookshop online. Other than that, this is a normal book haul. We're just doing it with a little more eco-consciousness in mind. It's quite a hefty pile, so let's get into it. The first two books are books gifted to me from my sister. So these are books that she bought and has read and is now handed down to me. So the first is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Kuang? I do apologise if I'm butchering the name. I've seen this all over BookTubes and Bookstagram. I haven't read it yet, but it does look interesting. I know Nicole found it all right, but let me read you guys the blurb. When Rin aced the Keju, the test to find the most talented students in the Nakara Empire, it was a shock to everyone that she got into Sangard, the most elite military school in Niken. Was even more surprising. But surprises aren't always good. Because being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not an easy thing in Sangard. Fighting the prejudice of rival classmates, Rin discovers that she possesses a lethal and unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. Exploring her gift with the help of a seemingly insane teacher, Rin learns that gods long thought dead are very much alive and that mastering these powers could mean more than just surviving school. For while the Empire is at peace, the Federation of Mugen still lurks across the Narrow Sea. The Federation occupied Niken for decades after the First Poppy War and only barely lost the continent in the Second. And while most people calmly go about their lives, a few are aware that a third Poppy War is just a spark away. Ew! So it sounds like an epic fantasy. It's got war, it's got an insane teacher, which we love the insane ones, and we've got a character, a female warrior, who I'm hoping is represented very well. So, first book from my sister is The Poppy War. There's a pile that's just going to grow here, by the way. The second book from my sister, which I'm actually really excited to read, is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. I believe there's a second of this book out now, but I saw this a while ago and knew it was one that I'd want to read. So it was on my list, and then yeah, my sister already had it, read it, and now it's with me. Looks really sweet, easy read. Let me read you guys the blurb. Oh, let me show you first. Look at that artwork inside. Let me read you guys the blurb. She's done slaying monsters. She's ready to serve coffee. After decades of adventuring, Viv the Orc Barbarian is finally hanging up her sword for good. Now she sets her sights on a new dream, for she plans to open the first coffee shop in the city of Thune, even though no one there knows what coffee actually is. If Viv wants to put the past behind her, she can't go it alone. Help might arrive from unexpected quarters, yet rivals old and new stand in the way of success, and Thune's shady underbelly could make it all too easy for Viv to take up the blade once more. But the true reward of the uncharted path is the travellers you meet along the way. Whether bound by ancient magic, delicious pastries, or a freshly brewed cup, they may become something deeper than Viv could ever have imagined. Legends and Lattes is a cosy, heartwarming story of found family, fresh starts, and the perfect cup of coffee. Now, I don't like coffee, But I do love bookshops, and I do love chai lattes and matcha lattes and a great cup of tea. So this sounds cozy as hell. So those are my 2 books from my sister Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. I'm really becoming her bin in books, to be honest. I get them every time I go north, and I'm here for that. This is a hefty pile, this one. So I now have 5 books, 4 which were for Christmas and 1 which I got for Matt for his birthday. But all of them are from bookshop.org. I'll put a link below. This isn't sponsored, but I'll put a link below to their website. It is a massive online bookshop which is all secondhand books. So you order the books from there and they all arrive. They are all secondhand, but they have a vast library on there. So some of these are books 1 and 2, so I'll only read you the blurb of book 1 in the series. First book that I got is The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. Now, if you haven't seen my book review on the Haunting season, that link is above me now, I discovered some authors in there that I'd never read before, but that I was very intrigued to read again, and this was one of them. So this is Laura Purcell. So Matt got me this one. It's in pretty good nick, so it is secondhand, but very decent condition. I'll read you guys the blurb for it now. Newly married, newly widowed, Elsie is sent to see out her pregnancy at her late husband's crumbling country estate, The Bridge. With her new servants resentful and the local villagers actively hostile, Elsie only has her husband's awkward cousin for company, or so she thinks. For inside her new home lies a mysterious wooden figure, a silent companion, that bears an unsettling resemblance to Elsie herself. So it sounds quite dark and mysterious, and I'm excited for that. I then have a second book by Laura Purcell. This is The Corset. This one is a little bit more in a bent condition. Now, you can't see what condition the books are when you get them. It does say very good, and Matt says these ones that he got me all said very good condition, but that very good condition does vary a little bit if you are about spines. But let me read you guys the blurb for this second book here. Dorothea, true love, is young, wealthy and beautiful. Ruth Butterham is young, poor and awaiting trial for murder. When Dorothea's charitable work leads her to Oakgate Prison, she finds herself drawn to Ruth, a teenage seamstress and self-confessed murderess, who nurses a dark and uncanny secret, a secret that is leading her straight to the gallows. As Ruth reveals her disturbing past to Dorothea, the fates of these 2 women entwine, and with every revelation a new layer of doubt is cast. Can Ruth be trusted? Is she mad or a murderer? So another kind of mystery. This one feels like horror mystery, and this one's a murder mystery. Both sound brilliant, and I did love Laura Purcell's story in the Haunted season, so I'm excited to read these. The next book we got is The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. This is by Natasha Pulley. Again, secondhand, really decent condition, I feel. Matt also got me the second book in this series, and he got this in hardback. So when you order from bookshop.org, they will say if they have hardbacks or paperbacks, and you can choose. So he got me the hardback of the second book in this series, so I won't read you the blurb for this one. The hardback condition is pretty good. It feels quite slack, but I don't know if that's just how the book was made or if it's coming undone inside. I'm not sure, but fairly decent condition. So that's book 2, so I won't read you the blurb for that. But let me read you the blurb for book 1. This is again one Natasha Pulley was in the Haunting season. It was my favourite story in that book. In 1883, Thaniel Steepleton returns to his tiny flat to find a gold pocket watch on his pillow. When the watch saves Thaniel's life from the blast that destroys Scotland Yard, he goes in search of its maker, Kaita Mori, a kind, lonely Japanese immigrant. Meanwhile, Grace Caro is sneaking into an Oxford library, desperate to prove the existence of the luminiferous ether before her mother can force her to marry. As the lives of these 3 characters become entwined, events spiral out of control until Thaniel is torn between loyalties, futures, and opposing geniuses. I've heard such good things about this book. I have seen it on a BookTube once, but as I said, I discovered it from the Haunted season. Then I saw it on BookTube after that point. It was already on my list, but Matt got me for Christmas from bookshop.org, and I'm very excited to read it. The final book we got from bookshop.org is a hardback that I got from Matt for his birthday, and it is Babel, or Babel, The Arcane History by R.F. Kuang. Oh, this is by the same person as Poppy War. Didn't realise that at the time. But Yes, so we have Babel here, and this one is a hardback, and it is in very good condition. I was very pleased with the condition of this one. It doesn't feel slack at all like the other hardbacks, so very decent. But let me read you guys the blurb. Robin paused, too dazzled to follow. Of all the marvels of Oxford, Babel seemed the most impossible, a tower out of time, a vision from a dream. Those stained glass windows, that high, imposing dome, an illumination in a medieval manuscript. A door to a fairyland, it seemed impossible that they should come here every day to study, that they had the right to enter at all. Yet here it stood, right in front of them, awaiting. Anthony beckoned Beeman. Well, come on in. Oh, it's a school. Oh, that sounds fun. An act of translation is always an act of betrayal. Oxford, 1836, the city of dream and spires. It is the centre of all knowledge and progress in the world, and at its heart is Babel, Oxford's University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, the tower from which all the power of the empire flows. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian, Robin Swift thought Babel a paradise, until it became a prison. But can a student stand against an empire? So it sounds less violent to the Poppy Wars, but I'm very intrigued. This book I got from the Secondhand bookshop here in Abergavenny, and it is Philip Pullman, The Book of Dust. This has been on mine and Matt's list for years, I think now, if I'm honest. And we just never picked it up when it was new, but we got it, and it is in really good condition. So the thing I like about going to secondhand bookshops or to charity shops and things is also you can see the condition of the books. If you are getting it to add to a series or as a collector's item, it's one way to check what they're like beforehand. Bookshop.org, you can't see what they're like beforehand. However, you could use Thrifted or eBay or even Facebook Marketplace, where people do put pictures of the condition of the book. But this is Philip Pullman's Book of Dust in hardback, and I'll read you guys the blurb. Malcolm was the landlord's son, an only child. He had friends enough, but he was happiest on his own, playing with his daemon, Asta, in their canoe, which was called La Bella Savage. Malcolm Polstead's life in the pub beside the Thames is safe and happy enough, if uneventful. But during a winter of unceasing rain, the forces of science, religion and politics begin to clash, and as the weather rises to a pitch of ferocity, all of Malcolm's certainties are torn asunder. Finding himself linked to a baby by the name of Lyra, Malcolm is forced to undertake the challenge of his life and to make a dangerous journey that will change him and Lyra forever. 22 years after the publication of the groundbreaking His Dark Materials, Philip Pullman returns to his epic parallel world in a masterful new novel, the long-awaited Volume 1 of Book of Dust. So it's been on the list forever. We finally got it. This was from the local secondhand bookshop in my town. On a similar note, in a different secondhand bookshop in Alnwick, Barter Books, link above me now to the vlog where I go there, we found Philip Pullman's Book of Dust, Volume 2. So of course we got it again, really good condition, and I believe it might be first edition, so really good. It looks like it was maybe read once, if that. I will not read you guys the blurb because this is the second book in a series, so no blurb for you because I don't want to know yet, but we got book 2. They're very hefty books, these ones, aren't they? And the final book, which is again from Barter Books in Alnwick, a massive secondhand bookshop, is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is, to be honest, I don't think it's ever been read. There's no crease in that spine for a paperback. Or it was read by someone like my sister who reads like this. I don't know how she sees the words in the bottom. I read like this, so I do support the spine, but obviously to get into, I need to see. I need to be able to see. Let me read you guys the last book from this book haul. When Rosemary Harper joins the crew of the Wayfarer, she isn't expecting much. The Wayfarer, a patched-up ship that's seen better days, offers her everything she could possibly want. A small, quiet spot to call home for a while, adventure in far-off corners of the galaxy and distance from her troubled past. But Rosemary gets more than she bargained for with the Wayfarer. The crew is a mishmash of species and personalities, from Sissix, the friendly reptilian pilot, to Kizzy and Jenks, the constantly sparring engineers who keep the ship running. Life on board is chaotic, but more or less peaceful, exactly what Rosemary wants. Until the crew are offered the job of a lifetime, the chance to build a hyperspace tunnel to a distant planet. They'll earn enough money to live comfortably for years if they survive the long trip through war-torn space without endangering any of the fragile alliances that keep the galaxy peaceful. But Rosemary isn't the only person on board with secrets to hide, and the crew will soon discover that space may be vast, but spaceships are very small indeed. So it sounds like a cozy adventure mystery in space. It sounds fantastic. I'm actually excited to read this. Matt found this one, and yeah. But very good. So that is my secondhand book haul. So as I said at the start of this video, this is for Plastic Free July. Buying secondhand is always a great option to help our planet because you're not using the materials to buy new and you're not wasting the materials that have already been used. If you can find a secondhand, buy secondhand. I know this does cause the problem of not being able to pay the authors, and that's where libraries come in. So borrow books from libraries if you can to support authors whilst also reusing books to help the planet. Let's do a recap of all the books bought in this book haul. So we have Becky Chambers' The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. We have The Book of Dust Volume 2 and The Book of Dust Volume 1. We have Babel by R.F. Kuang. I'm really sorry I butcher the names. We have The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley and Book 2, The Lost Future of Pepper Harrow. The Corset by Laura Purcell and The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. This pile is just slowly coming up on the screen. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. And finally, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. So, I'm going to attempt... Oh, I need to swap the small book for the huge books at the bottom. Oh, it's heavy. Et voila! Secondhand book haul, secondhand bookshops, and bookshop.org, and given to me from my sister after she has read them. That's a hefty haul. I will never deny I do buy new books because I love books, but I do try to limit plastic in other aspects of my life, and I never say no to a secondhand book or a secondhand bookshop. If I do find them there, I will get them there first. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to see as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Tumblr. I post my bookish pictures as well as my writing tips and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye!